Hi, I'm Stacy, an American-born writer from Switzerland living in Japan and a recent stroke survivor. After a lot of therapy and a boatload of determination, I am back to my passion of writing. In order for me to further my therapy, as well as to give an alternative access to my stories, I've decided to read them out loud. Well, here goes nothing. How a Woman Without Her Voice Accomplishes Things. Published on July 21st, 2019. I wanted to have my rehabilitation my way. No cookie cutter approach, please. There were a few aspects which were of utmost importance to me. In fact, I couldn't get them out of my head. It was like being all alone with my thoughts, circulating like a wild kaleidoscope of butterflies, just waiting for me to tame them, make them mine. For starters, I was results driven. My leg would run again, my hand would write again, and my voice would carry me for many years to come. In fact, I had to be the old Stacy I knew from before. I had this notion floating around in my head that anything less than that seemed like failure. Looking back, the me that I was working towards was one that was a much better, more intuitive, and wiser me. I didn't know it at the time, and perhaps I don't even know what it means today. But the wheels started moving in that direction, the right direction. I knew that it has to be now. I was too aware that every moment spent thinking about the work that lay ahead of me and not doing the work was a moment wasted. Even from my fog, I could sense this. I wanted the best for my therapy and also for myself. To me, the most important thing about my recovery, I reckoned, was that I could smile at the beginning of each day and at the end of each day. The days would be long and hard, but I knew that. I craved this, and I craved the chance to learn, to take action. Thus, it had to be a place where I felt happy. I needed that space. So I got cracking on the one thing that I was able to control, articulating what my recovery would look like. I began my journey slowly, deliberately forming a plan from my hospital bedside. This new Stacy, Stacy 2.0, was definitely starting to crystallize from within my writings, 1 or 2 words at a time. I wasn't mute. In fact, I, being that strong-willed fire eater of a girl, could make my opinions known to most. The poor nurses could attest to that. The problem, and I can only say this by looking back, was trying to make the puzzle pieces, the pieces of the puzzle fit together and controlling all of the crazy foreign influences surrounding me. To make sense of these, it would take me many hours of therapeutic writing. My inability here in this moment to formulate complete, actionable thoughts was something that I was going to vanquish come hell or high water. I had to focus on this goal in order to make well thought through, legible, and convincing arguments for myself. You see, I didn't know what I was working towards with all of that writing, but I found it very cathartic. I wrote my goals for my therapy, and it took me ages. Line by line, I wrote for more than 2 hours each day until the words formed magic in front of my eyes. I outlined what I needed from my therapist and what they should know about me. I started with each goal I could think of from all areas of my life, from the physical, such as I just wanted the chance to beat Katya at tennis, to the emotional, how would I calm the demons when they came hollering, and everything in between. From there, I delineated what it would take for me to meet each goal that I set for myself. For instance, beating Katya at tennis was just a dream that I conjured up to spark the fire of my competitiveness, to get me going in the right direction. To meet this goal, I had to think of my every step. This was the tough part because it required me to think cognitively about what tennis is and how to be back on my game. For starters, I had to list out my questions to my doctors and my therapist. Could I even safely play tennis? What could I do to improve my power and range? How could the room stop spinning so I could actually hit the ball? Once I was done with that list, I made another one of skills which I definitely took for granted pre-stroke. I had to improve my gait, my grip strength, my speed, my agility, my power and range of motion for both my hands and for my feet, and improve my endurance so I could play for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, until I had the endurance to beat Katya. Whew, that was definitely a lot of writing. I began with a blank sheet and I watched as my wishes transformed into a plan. For someone suffering with brain damage, suffering from non-affluent aphasia and aphasia, it was a hell of a lot of work. My goals would carry me a long way, giving me the motivation, the desire to do better, quicker. But what about the times when I felt beaten by my own perception of my progress? Did I accomplish 20 laps around the hospital ward? Did I manage to write a full sentence in therapy this afternoon? I sit here listening to that self-critical voice that my brain has, crushing me in that mocking way that she does. Or how about the times when I feel alone with despair creeping in at the side? I needed someone or something to help remind me about the here and now. I needed someone to shout, "Stacy, snap out of it," and pull me back to my reality. On a particular day, when I was visualizing my recovery, something happened. I can see this day so vividly, standing in my laundry room, giving someone a piece of my mind. And I could sense the anger and the frustration bubbling, but I didn't know how to stop the emotional outburst that I knew was coming. And if this could happen when I'm alone with my thoughts and my imagination, imagine what the damage that I could wreak on the people who were there supporting me, my team. That was the day that I implemented my mantra. I saw the need to protect myself and others from me. My mantra provided the right tools as a tool to deliver what I needed in a way that also validated to others my commitment to do the work. If you watched my last post about my emotional regulation issues and my seemingly big, creepy button labeled, "You want your emotion? Here, have it all." I think my mantra was necessary to give people a reminder that I am still a work in progress. My mantra acts as a moment in time, one where that brings me back to the here and now, and one that actually reminds me of what is meaningful in my world. I'm not afraid to tell you this, but I was not what you call a mantra kind of girl before my stroke. In fact, you could say that I thought the whole idea was kooky. I do a lot of things differently now. I want to develop into this new, bright and shiny Stacy. Here's the thing. I was happily walking down the path of my life, blissfully unaware. My life was good. I was happy. And it could have rolled on this way forever, as far as I was concerned. And then this, a stroke. And suddenly I find myself staring at this new Stacy 2.0. And I'm not sure if I find mantras kooky anymore. In fact, I'm going to make a lot of changes in the way that I relate to the world. So, how does a woman without her voice accomplish things? It turns out that mine was never lost in the first place. She was right here waiting for me all along. Do you remember how I was all set to beat Katya in tennis? I had my goals and my fire within. Well, not long ago, my doctors told me that I shouldn't play tennis ever again. That hurts. I'm not going to lie to you. But for the therapy, I'm happy. Let me explain myself. The goal was achieved even before I set out to achieve it. The goal was intrinsic to my writing as it gave me the dots that I needed to connect. It was just a way to light the fire within. Who would have won the match between Katya and myself? We'll never know.